Hey, what's up? What's up? It's your girl, Neek, and this is what we're going to be talking about. This 63-year-old bishop who had to clap back at people who felt some type of way about him marrying his younger wife. Now, 2 years ago, I did a story on this, and it seems like it's going re-viral. Now, the Neighborhood Talk posted about it about almost a week ago. Baller Alert also posted about it, I want to say 2 days ago. And I did a very extensive deep dive on this story, I want to say 2 years ago. And on my thing, it says 1 year ago, but when you click here, it shows you that, it was 2022 when I last did it in July. And I did a very extensive deep dive. I talked about all of the goings-ons that went on in this story. As y'all could tell, your girl was plumper at that time too. This was when I was drinking my alcohol. I don't drink no more, so a girl done slimmed down. But anyway, because I have done a deep dive on this and because it's going re-viral, let's just run the clip back and get into this story again. For those of you guys who have not seen it, let's talk about it, because as I was reading the comments under the blogs, I'm like, a lot of people are appearing to just be hearing about this for the first time. A lot of people were commenting like they haven't heard about it before. So I wanted to just run it back and play it on this good Thursday. Throwback. Let's get into the video. Hey, what's up? So today's topic is going to be about this pastor right here marrying a 18 or 19-year-old girl. Now, the marriage between the two has caused a big uproar online, and I am going to take you guys down the rabbit hole today and bring you guys up to speed on the goings-ons, because it involves this pastor marrying this girl, another pastor calling him to be investigated, and a big lawsuit behind it and a whole heaping mess. So this situation basically kicked off, I want to say, about 3 months ago when a pastor in Texas called for this guy right here to be investigated. Now, since the pastor in Texas called for him to be investigated, he has now retaliated back against him and filed a lawsuit, and it has been a whole big old thing. So this story, I'm just now hearing about it today, okay? So I'm going to share everything that I found out about it today because it's going viral once again. So there is a guy, a comedian on Instagram. He posted it yesterday, and it started a domino effect of a lot of other people reposting it as well. And it was basically a church sermon where the pastor was clapping back at people because they had something to say about him marrying an 18-year-old girl. So this comedian right here, he reposted it.
And I wish some of y'all would mess with my wife, Jordan. Talking about what you gonna do if you see her. Well, you will see me on the news, because that's my wife.
All right. I'm going to play the full clip in a second, but just showing you, this was posted a day ago. It was posted a day ago. And so since this was posted a day ago, it has started to make its rounds and be circulated through Facebook and everything like that. And it's starting to, like I said, go re-viral. So there, like I said, there was this pastor who called him out. He called for him to be investigated, and he basically started a change.org petition. So this is change.org right here. And as you can see, there was thousands of people who signed the petition. It says, investigate 63-year-old pastor and school dean who married 18 to 19-year-old girl. Okay? It says the 63-year-old bishop of Christ Why am I so tongue-tied today? What is going on? Church. Okay, Mr. Dwight Reed, upon information and belief, has married his former student, alleged counseling client, and church member who was assumed to be between the ages of 18 and 19 years old. Her name is Jordan Goodlett. Now, upon information and belief beginning in 2017, Reed returned to take over as pastor of this church and as dean of its school. The girl, who would have been 15 to 16 years old at the time, upon information and belief, it is through his role as pastor, school dean, and counselor that he gained and enrolled Jordan and began grooming her, to later he bought into his service and control. Okay, so all of these allegations was set forth by a pastor who is out of Texas, and he was calling for the investigation of Mr. Dwight Reed, who has married this girl. Okay, there are reports that says that she was 18, and then there are some reports that say that she was 19, but you know, they're saying that the school that he's in charge of, you know, she was a student and she graduated from that school, and she also was a church member from when she was young. So it says he was allegedly accused of similar unethical relationships with young girls in Shreveport, Louisiana, where he previously pastored. He has been married and divorced 3 times, and Jordan is his 4th wife. Although the marriage is legal, the breach of ethics and breach of fiduciary responsibility are not. The child was clearly groomed. We need your help in the Des Moines District Attorney's Office and Police Department to open an investigation into Dwight Reed. If you have any additional information, you may email it to theunmuzzled@yahoo.com. And then it says, while Jordan may think this is okay, she has been conditioned to think it is so. Okay, and then it says, text this number to stay informed about Bishop Senegal and the Safe House team. So Bishop Senegal is the one who is calling for this investigation. So when he called for this investigation, the pastor got wind of it and he clapped back in a church sermon. Okay, so in a church sermon, he got up there and told people that basically they need to mind their business because his wife is legal. Okay, and there was also allegations that he was misappropriating funds that had to do with the school. So he is in charge of this church, and then there is also a school, I believe it's called J.W. Reed Academy, and he was alleged to be in charge of it, and it was posted on the website that he was, you know, a part of the academy, but then they said that was an error. Okay, I'm just bringing y'all all the way up to speed, but let me post what he had to say. Has a big church, and it is alleged from others that they believe that this particular church acts sort of like a cult. Okay, so let's play it.
I know we had a long conference, but every chance you get, you ought to come in here and give God some glory. Has God done anything for you? Well, come on and tell him thank you. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Been so good to us. I said he's been so good to us. I don't care what kind of storm you in right now, God is all right. I say God is all right anyhow. You can't let the devil steal your joy. You may not understand that if God hadn't have brought me here, everything that my mother and father built would have closed down. The school would not be in existence. that studio wouldn't be there, and this church wouldn't be here.
All right. So as you can see, this organization, this church, and all of this stuff was originally created by his father. And he's saying if it wasn't for him taking control of everything, it would all be ran down to the ground. And he is taking credit for the school, the church, and I think he said the band or something that was in the back being up and operating. Now, the allegations of the other pastor is that this wife attended the school, and, you know, that's where he feels like it began. But
and somebody had the nerve to talk about a money scheme. So the school payroll is $17,000 a month. Yeah, that school up there. The payroll $17,000 a month. The studio payroll is $16,000 a month. That's $33,000 a month. The school charges $250 for a family. If you got 4 or 1, it's $250. And I think the price went down to $125. What you say, Monica? So $125 a month times 80 or 90 students that we have, that ain't no $17,000 a month. And then half the folk that go to the school, they don't even pay. And talking about a money scheme, where is it at? So I have put my money into the school.
all right, so as you can see right there, he's saying that it was his money that he put into the school. It was his resources that has it running, and he's claiming that he didn't do anything crooked as it pertains to the school because people said that it was a scheme. Now, as you see, in order for people to go to this school, they got to fork over some cash and spend some money. He's saying that the money that they forking over ain't even enough to keep the lights on or whatever. And then he goes on to talk about his wife. Okay? So let's fast forward this over around to when he starts talking about his wife.
So if you trying to remove me, you better talk to God, because he the one put me here. And ain't nobody got no power but God. See, they just sent me some stuff about the fella down in Houston running his mouth. And they say, Bishop, and I don't even know these folk. Here, put this out there on him. I said, no, I ain't gonna do it. But I gotta say this little something here today, so y'all can calm down, because y'all want to get out the gate. So I don't want y'all to get out the gate. Let me just sprinkle this and move on.
Child, not the pastor not the pastor being messy.
But don't let the devil fool you now. And I wish some of y'all would mess with my wife, Jordan. Talking about what you gonna do if you see her. Well, you will see me on the news. Let me just tell you that right now. Talking about what you gonna do if you see her. You better walk by and say, praise the Lord. That's what you better do. Because that's my wife. And she grown. She didn't need nobody to sign no paperwork for her. Now, if this was out in the streets, y'all be saying she made a come up. But you a hypocrite.
Child, not if we was out in the streets, we'd be saying that she made a come up. He said if they was out in the streets, we would be saying that she made a come up. And look at the smile he got on his face. Look at the smile he got on his face, child.
Now, if this was out in the streets, y'all be saying she made a come up. But you a hypocrite. So don't you forget the Bible say marriage is honorable. And the Bible said when you find the wife, honey, you find favor with God, honey. I found some favor with God. And we sleeping good at night. Ain't nobody up all night worrying about all these crooks. But I felt I need to say that because somebody talking about what they're going to do if they see you. I'm telling you now, don't let the devil fool you. Because I ain't the one to play with. I get on the other side here.
Is this what y'all be listening to when y'all be going to... Is this the type of sermons that y'all be sitting through when y'all be going to church? I don't go to church, child. But, is this the type of sermons that y'all be sitting through? Boy, what? That's why I can't go to church, child. Cause what? What? No, ma'am, don't have no turkey.
Wish you would. Yeah, you mean the pastor? Yeah, me. It's just too far. It's too far. You start threatening bodily harm, that's a problem. And please don't come over here because everybody in here is packing over here. Please don't come over here showing out.
Child, not the pastor with the threats going back telling the people that that the congregation is packing.
I'm asking you nicely as I know how.
Over the last
Had to get that off, because see, y'all, you start talking about, you talking about you going to do something here when you see her? No, you done went too far now. You done went too far. And I want you to know you didn't go on too far. Because I ain't going to do no whole lot of talking. But I'm going to send a warning out there. Don't you put your hands, or try to put your hands on that lady right there.
And this part's like, boy, who said they was going to put their hands on her? I'm sure if anybody said that they was going to put their hands on anybody, I'm sure it probably was you. But the way that you feel justified in sending out your threats, you going to try to flip it and try to say that they said, why would they say they going to put their hands on her when they accusing you of being the one that's in violation? Why would you not go sit up there on that stand and make me believe that somebody threatened to put their hands on this girl when everybody in town is talking about you? Child, like the video if y'all have not liked the video yet. I have more to go with this story. This probably is going to be, we're going to be here for a little bit because there's a lot to get through with this story. So hit the like button if you have not already, because the packing pastor say that they gonna go out, bang, bang, shoot them up if you come try to mess up over there.
And they got this lie out that my father was forcing folk to get married. You a lie. You jumped up in front of the church when he asked who wanted to get married, and you jumped up. You could have said no, like a whole lot of other folk did. So at some point you got to come to yourself and realize the devil using you. And then made a statement talking about, is what a reason to start a school because of lesbian and homosexual. I don't know no better reason to start one. Folk can't even go to school in peace without being approached by somebody. So this man that's getting ready to preach here, he had the people in view trying to protect your child. So yeah, that was a good reason to start a school. Because we don't believe in same-sex marriage. We believe they need to get saved. But we're not going to let you do what you want to do. The Bible said that a man shall not lay with a man like you do with a woman, and a woman ain't got no business laying with another woman like she would with a man. Why ain't y'all stirred up about that? All you good Christians that's in a corner on that subject.
How could anybody sit in his church and take him serious? Like, I would just be sitting there like, boy, if you don't shut up, like, I could not sit through any of this in a serious capacity, listening to him, feeling like I'm really receiving a word. Like, I could not take him serious. Child, he even got up there and called the man gay. I skipped that part. Hold up. He had even called the man gay and everything. Hold on, let me try to play that part. Let me go back because I'm about tired of him.
And I don't know what kind of Reed blood some of these folk got the last name Reed. There's something wrong with them. I'm trying to figure out when I was sending you all that money every time you asked me. And all the cars I bought for graduation, I paid cash and gave it to your child. The devil is a mess. And the devil get in folks. Just like God used folk, the devil uses people. So if you trying to remove me, you better talk to God, because he the one put me here. And ain't nobody got no power but God. Today,
it was somewhere around here.
You let the devil trick you, and then somebody talking about they agree because they was molested as a child. I didn't molest you. How you think all these kids love me? I am a protector of children. So everybody that's connected, they know the truth. You think we have all these folks sitting up in this church? So all these folks gonna sit up here in the church and know and still stay here, you alive on the pits of hell. So today, we're going to show a video of my father. He's going to preach today. And then we're going next door and we're going to have a celebration for my father. And I don't know what kind of Reed blood some of these folk got the last name Reed. There's something wrong with them.
All right, I don't know what a timestamp is, but he was calling somebody up in here gay and all kind of stuff. I skipped around, so whatever. Anyways, so like I said, there was a pastor in Houston that he was mainly directing a lot of his shots to because he had put out the petition on thechange.org. So the pastor, he then held a press conference because he felt like women and people should be protected against this pastor right here, saying that he is abusing his power and grooming girls. So from his press conference, from his allegations, from him talking to ex-church members and things like that, it then prompted this guy right here to file a $1.5 million defamation lawsuit against him. So I'm going to play the press conference, and then we're going to talk about the defamation lawsuit that he has now filed because he says that the pastor, he says that the pastor who is stirring up too much mess, causing him to lose too much money, and he don't appreciate it because he's not able to run a smooth sailing pimp school. Church. Okay. And he's not able to collect the the tithes, tithes. He's not able to successfully, run his operation smoothly with the guy making all of that noise. So let me share with you guys the press conference right now. Okay. All right, so this is the press conference that the other pastor did, and this was him calling out the other one that I was just showing you, and basically telling him that he is not scared of him. Thank you guys for the donations in the chat. I appreciate it. Let's get into this press conference.
Good afternoon. I'm Bishop Demetrius Senegal with Safe House Unmuzzled Advocacy Group, not-for-profit advocacy group that serves as a first line of defense for victims of gross clergy abuse within the African American church and against predatory sexual misconduct within the same, while advocating for legislation, reform, government programs to do.
I'm gonna pause it real quick. Nunu, Sky, and moderators, it's okay if they say curse words in the chat. That's fine. It's just me who has to censor myself on certain things when I'm talking here. But if YouTube don't delete the comment, then they're fine. Just, you guys don't have to keep telling. They're fine to say what they want in the chat. All right.
This part of our focus is to protect and to defend and to restore victims of gross clergy abuse and predatory sexual misconduct. Paulo Freire said that washing one's hands of the conflict between the powerful and the powerless means to side with the powerful, not to be neutral. The recent marriage of the 63-year-old pastor of Christ Apostolic Temple, Dwight Reed, here in Des Moines, Iowa, to teenage, lifelong church member, former student, and upon information and belief, counseling recipient, Jordan Goodlett, has brought shame, embarrassment, and reproach upon the Apostolic Church Global. However, for your concern, it has brought shame and reproach to your community and seems to be a violation of Iowa code. The nation looks on in shock and dismay that such an overt and blatant abuse of a young teenage black girl is being permitted in an American city in 2022. When we begin publicly crying out against Dwight Reed's reprehensible use of his pastoral privilege to, upon information and belief, groom this adolescent for marriage, a myriad of witnesses began coming forward with first-person allegations of gross clergy abuse, predatory sexual misconduct, harassment, threats, acts of physical harm, violence, misappropriation of assets and funds belonging to the nonprofit church organization, and more. My team and I have ourselves been receiving threats of harm and threats on our life from those purporting to be parts of Dwight Reed's camp. Those witnesses that have come forward include one of Dwight Reed's oldest biological daughters, several of his family members, former elders from Christ Apostolic Temple, and countless lay members of the church. 1 Timothy 5:19 says that against an elder, we shouldn't receive an accusation without 2 or 3 witnesses. We, however, have more than 2 or 3 witnesses, a myriad of witnesses that testify against Dwight Reed's abuse of power. According to Scripture, this man is a wolf in sheep's clothing. There is an outcry of these citizens of your community, and their testimony is that this church has the makings of a cult, and that the time they spent there has negatively impacted their lives in indescribable ways. This is clearly a matter of social welfare and the subsequent impact of public health for your community. This is clearly a matter that your community has a responsibility to address. The state of Iowa's Attorney General's office conducted an investigation into clergy abuse primarily impacting the Catholic Church, a predominantly white church in your state whose victims were primarily white. We seek the same investigative concern into Christ Apostolic Temple, where a black teenager is now in what can only be called contracted abuse, a marriage to her abuser. A pastor and his members have a fiduciary responsibility in that the pastor is assumed to place the welfare and best interest of the member above all else, especially above his own interest. There is an assumed guarantee of non-exploitation that is woven into the tapestry of the pastor-member relationship. In such a fiduciary relationship, the member justifiably reposes confidence and trust, assuming the pure and well-meaning intentions of the fiduciary. No pastor with the welfare and best interest of his members would encourage a teenager to commit the best years of her youth to a man 43 years her senior. Iowa Title 16 Criminal Law, Subtitle 1, Chapter 709 says and defines a counselor or therapist as a physician, a psychologist, a nurse, a professional counselor, a social worker, marriage or family therapist, alcohol or drug counselor, and member of the clergy, or any other person, whether or not licensed or registered by the state, who provides or purports to provide mental health services. It goes on to define emotionally dependent as the nature of the patient or client's or former patient or former client's emotional condition, or the nature of the treatment provided by the counselor or therapist is such that the counselor or therapist knows or has reason to know that the patient or client or former patient or client is significantly impaired in their ability to withhold consent to sexual conduct as described in subsection 2 by the counselor or the therapist. I won't read the entirety of the statute, but I'll provide it to media that is here for your reading. It does go on to state that any sexual conduct with an emotionally dependent patient or client, or emotionally dependent former patient or client, for the purpose of arousing or satisfying the sexual desires of the counselor or therapist, or the emotionally dependent patient or client, or emotionally dependent former patient or client, list here that at best commits a Class D felony. Upon information and belief, Dwight Reed assumed the pastoral leadership of Christ Apostolic Temple among suspicious circumstances in 2017. Upon information and belief, in addition to assuming the leadership of the church, he also became overseer and dean of all the church's subsidiaries, including the J.W. Reed Christian Academy. Jordan Goodlett, a student there, would have been 14 to 15 years old during this time. It has been reported that he began showing her, quote unquote, special attention, providing counseling to her due to the difficulty she was experiencing from her parents' divorce. It is intellectually unintegral not to consider the marriage within the context of the nature of the pre-existing fiduciary relationship. In light of that, the marriage is in and of itself exploitative and abusive. His pastoral authority made it impossible for a relationship to be symmetrical between him and his now teenage bride. We contend that current avenues of redress do not clearly identify this behavior, and moreover sanitized language which softens the harsh truths about it fail to capture the essence of wrong committed by this pastor. This deliberate breach of trust for self-gain and the calculated way in which consent has been induced makes it impossible for this teenager's consent to be void of the influences of her abuser. Her manufactured consent to a marriage with her abuser makes it no less abusive and no less a violation of your state's laws. Even in situations where a parishioner, in particular a teenager, may appear to initiate inappropriate relationship and does not see oneself as a victim, it is a violation of pastoral ethics and seemingly your state's laws for the church leader to accept such advances. Because of the power imbalances, it is always the responsibility of the caregiver to maintain appropriate and ethical boundaries.
All right. So that is part of a press conference that he held where he said that Miss Jordan, who is his wife, he says that she attended the school. Okay. Now, when it came down to them filing a lawsuit, they filed a lawsuit against him for defamation because they are claiming that he was not a part of the operations of the school, even though they had originally posted him in the school's newsletter as one of the head people in charge. They claimed in their lawsuit or whatever that that was an error and that he wasn't supposed to be, I guess, posted on there because he, I guess, wasn't, you know, in charge of, you know, the students or anything like that, even though he said in his sermon that he was, if it wasn't for him, the school wasn't be nothing. If it wasn't for him taking over the school, it wouldn't be nothing. So I'm going to show you guys the post that they posted with the school newsletter. And then I'm going to show you guys, let me see. So right here is their newsletter that they have posted. And as you can see, it says that he is a key part of the school. Okay? And they say that their foundation for the school is the father and the mother, and then him as the son. Well, they're claiming that them posting him was an error, okay? And that I guess that part wasn't true. So right here it says, J.W. Reed Christian Academy was founded and lovingly named after the late Bishop Jeremiah Reed, the late Dr. Willie Mae Reed, and their son and dean, okay, of JWRCA. So they listed him as the dean of the school, okay, meaning that he was like, ain't a dean like a principal of the school? So they then say that, you know, once they posted this and they said their son and dean of, you know, their J.W. Reed Christian Academy, he is continuing to carry their vision and grow the school's existence and footprint in the community. So once the lawsuit came out and, you know, they were being called out for this post where it says, like, listen, you guys are saying that he wasn't the dean of the school. This right here, you guys wrote that he was the dean of the school. They're saying that that was an error. That was an error. That was a mistake. Okay? And that he's doesn't really have dealings like that with the school, alleging that he would not have then groomed the girl from the school, making the statements of the other pastor defamatory. Okay? And so they filed a defamation lawsuit. Okay? So I'm going to share with you guys about the defamation lawsuit right now. Thank you guys for the donation. Thank you, Blessed Back Black Girl. I appreciate it. Didi says, we have to protect our children. Many of these men and women are in our churches. Thanks for the show tonight, Neek. Happy 4th of July. Everyone be safe. Thank you, Didi. Thank you guys And y'all know, other than super chats, y'all can always donate via Cash App if y'all ever feel like y'all want to be in the giving spirit. I also have a sale going on my website right now. You get 30% off of your purchase of $75 or more if you use the code HEAT. So you put in the code HEAT and you get 30% off of $75 or more purchase on your items. So let me show you guys this. Let me show you guys this lawsuit that they filed where they're claiming that the words of Mr. Senegal is defamatory. Okay? So this is it right here. Child, you see that? They worry about the dollar. You messing up the dollar. You telling people I'm wrong for marrying this 18 and 19-year-old girl, and it is causing a decline in the tithing. They ain't trying to tithe no more. You're messing it up, sir. I want the money. Okay? And I need the members. And you are causing a decline in the members and a decline in the tithe, sir. Why would you tell people that I groomed this girl that went to the school that we said that I was the dean of, but I'm saying that that was an error? And I need the people to tithe the church. So anyway, as you've seen in that news clipping, it states that the grandfather was definitely against the marriage. So allegedly, the grandfather of Mr. Reed's wife, the young teenage girl Jordan, he went on Clubhouse and basically said that the father pimped his daughter out. Okay, and as you see also in the news article, they are saying that the father walked her down the aisle. Now, there was mention from another channel that I seen that 3 days before the marriage, the father's business got reinstated. Now, I don't know if his business being reinstated, you know, and back operational and everything like that 3 days prior has anything to do with it, but that's what the streets are saying. They're talking, feeling like, you know, there was some type of situation that made the father in so much agreement of this union. Now, I'm going to play a clip of who is supposed to be the alleged grandfather speaking out on Clubhouse saying that she was pimped out.
Beautiful girl. She really, really is. And she has 3 gorgeous sisters. But you all need to know that Jordan's father, James Goodlett, sold his daughter out, pimped his daughter out for his own reasons, for his own earthly reasons. And I can tell you what they are, but that's not important. Because when you make the moves and make the decision to...
All right. It's just a quick 30-second clip. I'll play it again. This is what the alleged grandfather had to say.
Beautiful girl. She really, really is. And she has 3 gorgeous sisters. But you all need to know that Jordan's father, James Goodlett, sold his daughter out, pimped his daughter out for his own reasons, for his own earthly reasons. And I can tell you what they are, but that's not important. Because when you make the moves and make the decision to...
All right. So it was just a quick, he just posted a quick snippet, but that is allegedly the grandfather of it all. Now, once I got to going down the rabbit hole of this story, somebody sent me an update of a previous story that I covered.